Have you ever caught yourself thinking, if I just add a little more protein powder, I'll finally get the strength and energy I need? You're certainly not alone. Many adults over 65 wonder if protein powder is the secret ingredient to staying active and independent. After all, it sounds so simple. Mix a scoop into your morning smoothie or sprinkle some over oatmeal and poof, you've got a quick ticket to better health. But here's the surprising truth. It's not always that straightforward. In fact, many older adults unintentionally make the same three mistakes when using protein powders, and these oversights can actually undermine the very benefits they're hoping to achieve. One of the most common challenges people in their late 60s, 70s, and beyond face is preserving muscle mass while juggling issues like joint pain, decreased appetite, or even dietary restrictions. Maybe you've noticed you can't move around quite as easily as you used to, or you find it harder to open that jar of jam in the morning. When you hear that protein is important, it's natural to reach for what seems like a quick fix. And don't get me wrong, protein does matter. It's vital for maintaining strength, bone health, and overall resilience as we age. But simply scooping in extra powder without a plan can lead you down the wrong path. Addressing the right way to use protein powder matters because it can help you maintain an active, fulfilling lifestyle. This isn't about sculpting bodybuilder muscles or pushing yourself to physical extremes. It's about preserving mobility, reducing fatigue, and feeling confident enough to pursue the activities you love, whether that's gardening, playing with grandkids, or dancing at your granddaughter's wedding. When approached correctly, protein supplementation can support lean muscle, help your body repair after mild exercise or daily tasks, and even boost your mood. On the other hand, using it improperly can strain your digestive system, affect certain medications, or mislead you into ignoring more balanced nutrition. Today, we'll uncover three major pitfalls seniors often fall into when adding protein powder to their daily routine. We'll also look at two bonus tips that can elevate your approach, ensuring that you get the most out of every scoop. By the end of our talk, you'll have a clear roadmap for using protein supplementation wisely, one that respects your body's unique needs as you grow older. We'll look at how to choose a better quality product, avoid hidden ingredients that might cause more harm than good, and balance protein with other nutrients essential for aging well. My name is Linda, and I've spent years guiding clients in their 60s, 70s, and 80s toward healthier, happier lives through practical, easy-to-implement steps. I'm not a medical doctor, but as a holistic wellness coach, I've seen firsthand how the right nutritional strategies can transform energy levels and overall well-being, especially in the later years. If you're feeling a bit uncertain, that's perfectly okay. My goal here is to share evidence-based insights and gently point you toward the next steps. Of course, always talk to your healthcare provider before making significant changes to your diet or supplement routine. Before we jump in, I'd love to hear your personal experience. Have you tried protein powder already, or is it something you've been curious about but hesitant to explore? Feel free to think about what's worked or not worked for you in the past. By the time you finish watching, I hope you'll feel ready to refine your approach and start reaping the genuine benefits protein powders can offer, without falling for the common traps. Let's explore the first major mistake I see over and over again, assuming that more protein is always better, especially for older adults. In my years of coaching, I've watched well-intentioned seniors sabotage their digestion, energy levels, and even medication regimens simply by piling on too many scoops of protein powder. It often starts like this. A 72-year-old woman named Barbara came to me, frustrated that her energy hadn't improved despite adding 2 heaping scoops of whey protein to her breakfast every morning. She'd read articles suggesting older adults need more protein to fight muscle loss, so in her mind, adding extra was the surest way to see quick results. But over time, Barbara noticed bloating, discomfort, and a lack of appetite for balanced meals later in the day. The misconception here is that protein alone can fix everything. Certainly, protein is crucial for repairing tissues, maintaining muscle mass, and supporting immune function. But seniors must also pay attention to their digestive capacity. As we age, our bodies produce less stomach acid and fewer digestive enzymes, which can make it harder to break down large amounts of protein at once. Loading up on huge scoops of powder can lead to gastrointestinal distress and even reduce your desire to eat other nutrient-dense foods. What Barbara discovered, once we dug deeper, was that her body was protesting the overload. The solution was more strategic than simply piling on more powder. We reduced her scoop size and spread out her protein intake throughout the day. For instance, she started having a smaller portion of protein powder in her morning smoothie, then included a moderate protein source, like beans or a bit of chicken, at lunch and dinner. She also added light snacks like Greek yogurt or cottage cheese in between. This balanced approach allowed her to digest proteins more efficiently, and it made sure she got vitamins, minerals, and fiber from other food groups. If you're in your late 60s, 70s, or beyond, your best bet is to think of protein as part of a puzzle rather than the whole picture. Consider limiting your initial serving of protein powder to 1 scoop, often around 20 grams of protein, and see how your body responds. Then complement it with real, whole foods containing protein and other essential nutrients. And don't forget to drink plenty of water throughout the day. Hydration plays a massive role in how well your body can utilize protein. Physically, this approach helps preserve muscle mass without overburdening the digestive system, which can be especially sensitive as we age. Emotionally, it can be a relief to realize you don't have to force yourself to chug down massive shakes. You're creating a lifestyle that honors your body's changing needs. I often like to compare it to learning a new dance. You don't jump into advanced moves right away. You take smaller steps, get comfortable, then move on. The same idea applies to protein intake. Start modestly, spread it out, and give your body the time it needs to adjust. Before we move on, let me ask, have you ever felt guilty for not taking a large enough serving of protein powder, as though more was automatically better? If that sounds familiar, consider how you might rebalance your intake across meals. Even a seemingly small shift can bring significant benefits over time. Now, the second big mistake is overlooking how that protein powder might interact with medications and other supplements. Many seniors assume a protein shake is as harmless as a glass of water. Yet certain compounds in popular powders, like added vitamins, minerals, or herbal extracts, can actually alter how medications function in the body. Take the story of James, a 75-year-old retiree who was on a blood thinner for a heart condition. He'd been using a protein powder that had a greens blend added, loaded with vitamin K, an essential nutrient, but one that can interfere with his medication's effectiveness. Over weeks, he noticed more pronounced bruising and unexpected shifts in how his body was responding to daily activities. Initially, he chalked it up to just getting older, but after consulting his doctor, James realized the culprit was the extra vitamin K he hadn't accounted for. This is a common misconception. We tend to think that more nutrients are always better, and that supplements are universally safe. However, for seniors especially, medication management can be delicate. Blood pressure medications, blood thinners, and diabetes drugs, among others, may be affected by changes in diet or supplement use. Even switching from one type of protein powder to another, like from whey to soy, can have minor impacts on hormone balance or nutrient absorption. Evidence-based guidelines suggest that whenever you introduce a new supplement, especially if it contains additional ingredients beyond basic protein, you should talk to a healthcare provider or pharmacist. They can help you figure out if the product is likely to interfere with any prescriptions you're taking. For example, you might find a protein powder that's free of unnecessary add-ons, ensuring you're getting the protein you need without accidental conflicts. So, the practical advice is to read labels carefully. Look for protein powders that are relatively simple, containing just protein and maybe a minimal list of added vitamins, if you truly need them. Also, schedule regular medication reviews with your doctor, especially after 65. This can be as straightforward as listing everything you take, from your morning pills to that afternoon cup of herbal tea, so you both can see if anything is interfering with each other. When you handle this carefully, the physical benefits include safer medication management, reduced side effects, and an overall better sense of stability in your daily life. Emotionally, it's empowering to know you can continue using protein supplements for muscle health without jeopardizing your medical regimen. You'll feel more confident, more in control, and less anxious about unexpected side effects. If you haven't done so recently, this might be a perfect time to take a quick inventory of all the supplements and medications in your routine. You might discover an overlap or realize you're using a product that could be simplified. Small steps like this can have a big payoff, both for your health and your peace of mind. The third mistake is focusing only on protein quantity rather than protein quality. This can happen when the label boasts high protein, yet the powder is riddled with artificial sweeteners, fillers, and low-grade protein sources that aren't as beneficial as you'd hope. Seniors sometimes pick whatever brand is on sale, not realizing how dramatically different protein powders can be in terms of purity and absorption. Consider Louise, 68, who'd heard that collagen peptides could help with joint support. She grabbed the cheapest brand she saw online, figuring all collagen was created equal. A few months later, Louise saw little improvement in her joint comfort, and she also experienced weird stomach gurgles that she'd never had before. When we looked at the label, the product was full of artificial flavors, excessive sodium, and thickeners that made it cheaper to produce but less effective for her body. This brings us to the core misconception. Not all proteins are absorbed and utilized the same way. Whey casein, soy, pea, hemp, and collagen each have different amino acid profiles and different digestibility factors. If you have dietary restrictions, like a sensitivity to dairy, it's important to pick a protein that won't upset your system. Additionally, watch for added sugars or sugar substitutes that might clash with your dietary needs, especially if you're managing diabetes or simply trying to keep your blood sugar stable. An evidence-based perspective shows that high-quality protein sources, such as grass-fed whey or well-sourced pea protein, often have more essential amino acids necessary for muscle maintenance and tissue repair. A cheaper powder might not give you the same benefits. The difference might feel subtle in the short term, but over time, consistent use of a high-grade protein can affect how your muscles recover from everyday activities, like climbing stairs or carrying groceries. Practically, what can you do? First, scan the ingredient list for words you recognize. The shorter the list, generally the better. High-quality powders often highlight their amino acid profile or note that they're third-party tested for purity. If you see a bunch of unpronounceable additives, consider looking for a cleaner alternative. Yes, higher quality may cost a bit more, but it often pays off by giving you better results and fewer digestive complaints. Physically, using a better quality protein supports muscle strength, potentially improves bone density, and helps you stay active. Emotionally, you'll feel reassured knowing that every scoop you take is truly nourishing your body, rather than loading it with unnecessary chemicals. It's about investing in your health from the inside out. Before we continue, take a moment to reflect on the kind of protein you're currently using, if any. What's on that ingredient list? How much do you recognize? If you're not sure, this might be a sign to do a little digging and find a brand that aligns more closely with your health goals. We've explored 3 major pitfalls: adding too much protein too fast, ignoring medication interactions, and settling for low-quality powders. Now let's shift to 2 bonus tips that can significantly improve how you use protein powder in your everyday life after 65. The first bonus tip is to combine protein supplementation with gentle resistance exercises tailored to seniors. No, I don't mean you need to lift heavy barbells or do intense boot camps, far from it. Even simple chair exercises, light resistance bands, or water aerobics can make a profound difference in how your body utilizes the protein you consume. A common misconception is that protein alone will magically boost muscle mass. Actually, your muscles need a reason to grow or maintain strength. Think of your body as an engine. Protein is the fuel, but movement is what kickstarts the machine. When seniors engage in light strength training 2 or 3 times a week, especially exercises focusing on core and leg strength, your body signals your muscles to use the protein more effectively. For example, Henry, 80, started using protein powder because he noticed his legs getting weaker. At first, he saw minimal change, which was discouraging. Then his physical therapist recommended short daily sessions of leg raises, calf stretches, and gentle wall squats. Within a month, Henry felt more stable walking to the mailbox, and he had more overall energy. The protein shakes paired with these low-impact exercises turned into a team that worked together for better results. From an evidence-based standpoint, older adults generally respond well to a mix of adequate protein intake and targeted exercise. This combination helps preserve muscle fibers and can slow down the normal muscle loss associated with aging. If your mobility is limited, don't worry. There are plenty of adapted exercises you can do from a chair or even in bed. The goal isn't to become a bodybuilder, it's to maintain the functional strength that keeps you independent. On a practical level, how can you do this? Try setting aside 10 minutes after your protein-rich breakfast to do some seated exercises. Simple arm curls with light weights or even water bottles, leg lifts, or gentle toe stands to strengthen calves. Then if you're feeling more confident, you might explore guided videos designed for seniors. Remember, any amount of movement can amplify the benefits of protein, so long as it feels safe and comfortable for you. Always check in with a healthcare professional if you have concerns about new exercises. The emotional reward here is huge. You'll likely feel a sense of accomplishment as you notice everyday tasks becoming less challenging. Physically, you're setting a foundation for better posture, reduced falls, and greater ease in day-to-day activities. It's a powerful synergy that can reinvigorate your confidence in what your body can still do. The second bonus tip is to be mindful of the timing and context in which you consume protein powder. Many seniors don't realize that the body can only process a certain amount of protein at once, and the timing of your intake can affect whether it helps with muscle repair, energy, or even sleep. For instance, consuming a moderate amount of protein, around 20 to 30 grams, shortly after light exercise can maximize muscle recovery. Some people also find that a small protein-rich snack before bedtime helps stabilize nighttime blood sugar levels and prevents muscle breakdown during sleep. On the other hand, if you pile all your protein into one giant meal at dinner, you might not absorb it as effectively. A story that comes to mind is Carmen, 77, who relied on her nightly protein shake to curb hunger. She often skipped breakfast, which meant her body went long stretches without consistent nourishment. Over time, she felt sluggish in the mornings and found it harder to take her daily walks. When we redistributed her protein intake, half a scoop in a morning smoothie bowl, a protein-rich lunch, and then a smaller shake in the evening, she noticed a remarkable lift in her daytime energy. She also slept better, likely because her body wasn't trying to digest a large amount of protein right before bed. From a practical standpoint, consider spacing your protein servings throughout the day. Some seniors do well with 25 grams at breakfast, 25 grams at lunch, and 25 grams at dinner, supplemented by small snacks as needed. Pay attention to how you feel. Do you notice a burst of energy after a mid-morning protein shake? Does a small protein snack at night help you sleep? These personal observations are invaluable. Beyond the physical perks of improved muscle support and steadier energy levels, the emotional advantage is feeling more in tune with your body's signals. It's empowering to realize you can tweak timing and portion sizes to support your own well-being. Rather than forcing your body to adapt to a rigid plan, you're adapting the plan to your body's natural rhythms. Before we wrap everything up, here's another question to consider. How do you usually time your protein intake, if at all? Are you dumping a single scoop in the morning and calling it a day? Or do you spread it out? Experiment gently. Maybe try splitting your usual scoop into 2 separate times. Keep track of how you feel. This small adjustment could make a big difference in your daily comfort and vitality. Let's bring it all together now. We've talked about 3 big mistakes: loading up on too much protein too quickly, ignoring potential interactions with medications, and relying on low-quality powders. We also introduced 2 bonus strategies to get better results: pairing protein with light strength exercises and paying attention to how you time your protein intake. Why is this urgent? Because every day that passes without a balanced approach to protein supplementation is another day you could be inadvertently creating digestive discomfort, missing out on potential improvements in strength, or risking unwanted medication conflicts. While there's no need to panic, there is real value in taking action sooner rather than later. The beauty of these changes is that they're not drastic or overwhelming. Small tweaks can lead to meaningful improvements in how you feel and function. Picture your life a few months from now if you start making these adjustments right away. Maybe that nagging stiffness in your knees is lessened because you've maintained better muscle tone. Perhaps you have an easier time opening jars and lifting groceries because you're getting the right quality and quantity of protein paired with simple strength exercises. And imagine the emotional lift that comes from feeling more capable and independent, rather than worrying about every physical task becoming a major hurdle. If you're ready to take the next step, here are a few ways to get started. First, find a simpler, high-quality protein powder that fits your dietary needs, one without an army of artificial additives. Second, schedule a quick check-in with your healthcare provider or pharmacist to review any medications or supplements. This can give you peace of mind and help you avoid hidden conflicts. Third, experiment with one or two gentle exercises after your morning protein shake, or spread your protein intake so your body can fully use it throughout the day. You might also want to engage with this community by sharing your questions or success stories. If you found a particular routine that boosts your energy or helps your muscles recover faster, tell someone about it. For those who prefer to keep it simple, start with just one change, maybe switching your brand of protein or reducing your scoop size, and build from there. Remember, you've spent decades learning about your body, even if you didn't think of it as health research. You already know yourself better than anyone else. These guidelines are merely tools to help you refine what you're already doing well. You get to decide which suggestions feel right for you and which you'd like to explore further with professional guidance. Above all, don't lose sight of the fact that aging can come with newfound wisdom and a deeper understanding of what truly matters. Every step toward better health, no matter how small, can enrich your life in tangible ways. Protein powder, when used smartly, is just one tool among many, but it can make a real difference in preserving the independence and vitality we all cherish. I hope you feel encouraged, not overwhelmed. You've got this. Remember to celebrate each small win, whether it's a day with less joint discomfort, a successful medication review, or simply enjoying a new healthy recipe. And if you found this conversation helpful, feel free to share it with someone else who might be on a similar journey. You never know whose life you might touch with a few thoughtful tips. Thank you so much for joining me today, and here's to your continued strength and well-being.